All right, guys. So it's March 10th, and this call is going to be basically on being a leader, leading your team, your challengers, while overcoming those fears of your own at the same time. So obviously, as we grow in our business, and even like you're following on Facebook, you're obviously going to have more influence over people. Your challengers are going to look to you in your challenge groups. People are going to message you and ask you questions about nutrition and fitness and all kinds of crazy questions because they see what you're doing. And your coaches are going to ask you questions as well. They're going to be looking to you for guidance and motivation and so on. So that's super exciting. It's kind of like this, for me it was like this high when it first started. I was like, wow, I'm a part of something big and I'm helping people and people are actually responding to me, and it was just really exciting. And then this little whisper started like creeping in, that just like became this self-doubt for me, and really just second guessing, what in the world did I get myself into? How am I supposed to lead people when I'm not even like confident? I just started the 21-day fix. I've only done it like a round or whatever, and I'm supposed to lead people. And then as I went along and I was having people join my team, I was kind of clueless on what I was doing. And even though we have all the resources and we have this team behind us supporting us every step of the way, you still have those doubts and those fears that set in. And I started thinking about how incapable I was, and how even if you're looking at these coaches and what they've done with their business, am I even worthy of that? Like, am I even ever going to be able to hit those levels and accomplish my dreams and everything? So that negativity kind of seeps in. And, I really found myself questioning myself a lot. And even the further along in this business, unfortunately, that hasn't really changed. It's improved, but it's still there because we're human and it happens. We doubt ourselves. Do I actually have things to offer these people? And as you go along, I think I could speak for a lot of people, Abby, Manny, whether you're 2-star or 5-star, you're elite, you're premier, you have all these ranks, and people look at you and are like, wow, she's really rocked her business. She has built a successful business. I could probably guarantee that, they're not the exception, that they still have those doubts that creep in, and where circumstances come along and just kind of knock them over for a second and they're not really quite sure what to do. I think that that's just bound to happen. So the question necessarily isn't, will this ever happen to me on my journey? Will this happen to me as a coach in the future? But when it does happen, what are you going to do about it? And how are you going to handle it? This last fall, so just a couple months ago, is that Megan? So this last fall, I was pushing for a really big goal in my business, and I was working basically every hour that I wasn't sleeping or at the hospital as a nurse. I was plugged in to my business, and I remember I told Eric, I told him, I was like, I'm pushing for this goal. I apologize now, one, for however I act, but number two, that I'm going to be like on my computer and on the phone all the time. So don't get mad about it, because I know that I'm going to be working really hard. And yeah, he was super supportive, but it kind of took a toll a little bit on our relationship, because it was just kind of in passing. My focus was on those goals, and unfortunately my relationship was taking a backseat. But regardless, I was working really hard. I was up until midnight, actually the night before the qualifying day, and up until midnight with one of my lead coaches and my accountability partner. And I'm like, okay, we're going to sleep, and this is good. I'm going to wake up in the morning and the computer in my back office is going to say 2-star qualifying, and this is going to be good. We're moving forward. So even though I was kind of anxious, I still knew that it happened. So I was really excited for the hard work we put in. And I was walking into work the next morning and I got this text from my coach. And it's like, wow, you did such a great job. I know how much hard work you put in this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And then I read this line that says, you were so close. And I am so proud of you. And I was like, what just happened? I mean, it felt like it was there and then it got ripped away from me. I was like, what in the world just happened? And instantly I just felt so defeated and like devastated. Like I'd worked so hard for 6 weeks, like sacrificing so much. And so of course I went to the bathroom real quick so that nobody saw me crying. So I was like, I can't believe that this just happened. But I really started questioning right then, like, what was I doing? How in the world did I even set that goal for myself? Who did I think I was? I am a nurse. I am not an entrepreneur. I can't lead people. Clearly I'm not being a good leader to my coaches, and clearly I'm not capable of this. So I think Abby tried to like get ahead of the game and like flood me with all this encouragement and positivity to prevent this from happening. She's a great friend and a coach, but ultimately that doubt just started, like, it consumed my day for one, and the next day and the next day and the next week. And I pulled back from my business. I didn't set any goals. I certainly wasn't going to set a high goal again. Like 2 stars should have been another goal for, I'm going to hit this in 4 weeks or whatever. And it wasn't. I completely took it off the table because I was scared of missing it again. I was like, I don't want to feel this, that you set that goal and you miss it, or a circumstance comes up and you're kind of rocked a little bit and you're not really sure what to do. But we have those struggles. So kind of as I allowed that negativity to consume me, luckily I got a grip on it, because it certainly could have been kind of a point where I said, this just isn't for me. I'll just continue working on myself. And, luckily I had leaders around me who didn't let me do that. But there's just a couple of things that I really started focusing on and diving into that has allowed me to lead over these last, year or so, but mostly from this last fall, is become that leader despite what your fears are and your self-doubts are, and really just like getting control of them and not letting them consume you, because it's an easy thing to do. So whether you're a brand new coach in this business or you've been in this business for a long time, like I said, there's no exception. Things are going to happen along the way, whether it's a really big goal that you set, or it's just like these little things that happen. You wake up in the morning and you don't want to post. You don't even want to check Facebook. You don't want to work out. It happens. We just kind of want to like hide back under the covers and not show up that day. So one thing that I want you guys to do, number one, is going to be to allow yourself to feel disappointed. To give yourself permission to be upset or be really frustrated or sad or disappointed in yourself, because we're human. And even though we're Beachbody coaches and we're positive and we're motivational and we're supposed to be happy all the time, that's just not realistic. So give yourself permission to not be on your A game 24/7, that you can have real feelings and be upset and discouraged. And number one, that's what this group is for. That's what this team is for, so that when you're feeling like that, you don't pull away and you don't, like I did, you put your arm at, it's now at an arm length and you're just kind of scared of it. Connect with the people on this team and on this group, and your upline coach, your accountability partner. If you don't have one, I suggest you get one. Have a couple people in your network that you can lean on. But when you're giving yourself that permission to be disappointed, it's going to last for a second. Okay, this isn't like pity myself and now I'm going to let it control me like I did for weeks. You allow yourself to feel those emotions, and then you say, I'm moving forward. I am not a failure. This was just a failed attempt. This was something that happened that I missed, but that is not who I am. and I am capable, I am this, I am that. Just giving yourself those positive affirmations, because that's really the truth. This one thing that happened is not who you are. It's just one of those stumbling blocks along the way. So number 2, it kind of just leads into personal development, which we talk about all the time, and Beachbody talks about. It's one of the 3 vital behaviors. So obviously it's important. Beachbody knows how important it is to feed into yourself and to grow, not just for the business, but for you as a person, because it's going to help you in every area of your life. So, the personal development is only going to help you love yourself more. And I say that from personal experience. I used to sometimes do my personal development in the evening. It was kind of like hit or miss, and I really gave myself props when I actually did it. But I could tell in different areas of my life that, this isn't on point. My business isn't really growing very much. My relationship's not that great. My relationship with myself isn't that great. And it's because when I did my self-evaluation, I wasn't really doing personal development consistently. And, when that started to change, other things started to change and improve. And my attitude and my mindset was now right. So, in addition to doing your personal development, I want you to love yourself. And that's ultimately what personal development taught me, where, it's saying, I want you to describe yourself. And I want you guys to do this, seriously. Describe yourself. Take out a piece of paper and pen and write down all the great things about yourself. And then repeat them every single day. Because for me, before Beachbody, when somebody said describe yourself, I certainly didn't pat myself on the back and say nice things. Or, when something would happen, I would attack myself. There's all these things that go on in between these ears, and we need to protect it. We need to protect ourselves from these thoughts and these words that are going on between our ears, because they're powerful. And if we don't watch out for it and we don't put on that armor every day, like your personal development, and having faith in what you're capable of, those words can kind of get a hold on us and keep us from reaching our full potential. And that just kind of goes into this next thing, which is kind of a struggle for me. It always has been, and it's clearly something that my personal development is helping me overcome. But I don't know if I'm the only one on this call who likes, or doesn't like to, but it just happens, compares themselves to anybody. Yeah. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous, and unfortunately, it just happens sometimes. But I'll scroll through Facebook, and whether it's a coach or just somebody, I'm instantly thinking wow, I wish I had that life, or I wish I was like her, or that coach started way after me, but they're so far ahead in the business than I am. What am I doing wrong? Why is she doing better than I am? I'm not good enough. Am I your mind starts going all these crazy places, but you have no idea what that girl has gone through, what she's overcome, the struggles that have met her at her doorstep every day. You don't know, but we just have this crazy way of envisioning that their life is perfect and we want it, or, we want to be where they are in the ladder, or whatever. So there's this quote that I love, and it's because it's so true, and I have to remind myself of it often, but comparison is the thief of joy. And that's so true, because when we start comparing ourselves to what another coach is doing, thinking that we should be doing what they're doing, or we should be where they're at, it takes all the joy away from what I am doing and the accomplishments that I've made so far, or what my challengers are doing right now. The self-doubt that sets in all over again because I am comparing myself. And one of the things that I love about this team is how we all bring different things to the table. We're career women, we're moms, we're nurses, we're teachers, we're coaches, all these things, and we all have our own unique strengths and personalities and everything, which makes our team so strong. because we can't be good at everything. So we're all really good at a couple things, and that's where we come together and we grow from one another. So I really urge you to push down that comparison and instead celebrate what that person's doing and be happy for them, but be happy for yourself too. You know, really congratulate yourself on what you're accomplishing so far, and, you know, lean on the other person and say, hey, you know, I reached out to Ashley a few weeks ago and I'm like, I'm having a really hard time figuring this stupid video out. How in the world do I do this? And she walked me through it because she's awesome at it. So we grow from one another. You know, like when you see somebody, you know, succeeding or striving in something, I want to reach out to them and be like, teach me what you're doing, you know, instead of being like, I'm not good enough, because that's so not true. It's a lie. So put on that armor every day, and with your personal development, love yourself, do your positive affirmations, and stop looking at the girl beside you. Focus on you and like put your little blinders up, because when you do that and you're not focused on everyone else around you and what they're doing, you're going to realize like, wow, I'm so much farther ahead than I was 6 months ago. Like, it just happens. But when you're so distracted by what the people are doing around you and what you think you should be doing, it's going to hold you back. And they're going to continue going forward because they're focused on their goals and their passions and everything. And you're just kind of like stuck. So I urge you to focus on you and look at all the great things that you're accomplishing and what you're capable of. And lastly is be you. Unapologetically. We hear it all the time, but it's true. You know, owning who you are and using your story for great is kind of what coaching is all about. You know, we all have different stories, different struggles, and you know, you're going to build your team and help challengers. You're going to attract people when you're you. And when you're sharing your struggles and your fears, your failures, you know, when you set a goal really high and you missed it, that's when people are going to relate to you, because they don't want to see how perfect you are, because they don't relate to you. They want to, you know, see how you got to where you were and, you know, what you had to overcome to get there. You know, that's going to help you find your niche. You know, we get to choose who we work with. Like, the coaches on my team and most of my challengers are people that I would love to pick up the phone and call, or I would love to have happy hour with, or whatever it is. Come to my house, please, and let's hang out. And it's because I get to choose who I work with. And because what I put out on my Facebook and social media and at work is me. And I'm attracting people who have similar interests and passions and drive as I do. And that's what I want you to do, is own your story and don't be afraid to share it. You know, that's how we're going to help inspire people. My story is most of it's about my back, you know, and so I have people coming to me, you know, asking for modifications, being encouraged to push forward no matter what circumstance that you have. But also, as we share our story, like for me, sharing my story on Facebook isn't asking for pity or anything like that. That's not what I want. Yes, it's to inspire people, but it also helps me. Like, I don't think that that's selfish, but it helps me kind of cope with it. And, you know, when I'm feeling down or I'm feeling frustrated, that's kind of like my therapy. You know, people reach out in this group. You know, you're going to, as you post things like this on Facebook, you're going to start to attract people who like positivity and encouragement. And that's what you're going to start to get back. So you're going to give. And all of a sudden, when you post something that's not going so great in your life or you're struggling, these people are going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to support you. They're going to say, I'm praying for you. Thank you. I'm thinking of you. They're going to offer you advice. And for me, that's kind of, I mean, Beachbody has become a huge blessing in that regard, that it gave me something positive to hold on to, and something that people that I could confide in and share things about myself that otherwise I would just be like probably controlled by it all over again. So as you share your story, I think it's helpful for you to just kind of overcome those struggles. And the more you do it publicly, is a great way to really lead your team, because you're showing your challengers, you're showing your coaches that vulnerable side of you, and you're leading by example. And they're going to see what you're doing and not necessarily do the same thing, but they're going to mimic it. And them in turn, they're also going to do, kind of what you're doing as far as sharing their story, being empowered by their story and being able to own it. And, I feel like the more that we go through this business, it's easy to throw in the towel because things get hard. This business is not an easy business. It's going to take work to get to your goals. But when you start focusing on other things like, this is what's working for this coach, so I'm going to do it. Or, trying to look a certain way, even feeling like the coach looks a certain way and that you have to have a six pack and you have to be at your goal weight, or this is what this coach is doing, so I'm going to do exactly what she's doing. Basically, not being true to you is, one, not going to attract people very well, because people are going to be able to tell that it's not really you, but also you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to quit. You're going to quit, and you're going to be the only one to blame, because I'm telling you right now that what works is being you and embracing your unique, your features, your passions, your talents, and your story, because there's somebody out there that doesn't relate to me that needs somebody to relate to. So truthfully, it's pretty selfish of you to not share your story, because people need to hear it. I heard somebody's story and I started my own journey. And I'm sure that happened for you guys as well. There was somebody that stood out that kind of got your attention, and you're like, wow, like I could do that. And I want to be happy like that. And I want to be healthier. Or somebody's story that just inspired you or that you connected with. So getting out there and being you and using your struggles for great and turning those setbacks into success and being completely raw about it is how you're going to grow your business and lead your team. So your fears, share them with your team, because you are all going to grow from it, being real about it. And then just like sharing it on social media. And as far as your posts, yes, we're supposed to be encouraging and inspiring. So when you put out a post about yourself, you're having a bad day, we don't leave it at today's awful. We spin it so that it can be something that somebody is going to benefit from. We're going to be posting with purpose, so that we're not one of the millions of people that is just posting about how awful their day is or how bad their boyfriend sucks. Like, it's depressing, and nobody likes to read that stuff. So when we post about our struggles, that's how we're going to inspire people, is we're going to say, this is what I'm going through, but this is what I'm learning from it. And this is where I was, and this is where I am now. And this is how I got here. That's what's different between us and other people. And we're going to build friendships that way. And that's how people are going to relate to you. And they're going to want more. They're going to want to change their life too. So that's how you're going to lead. No matter what your fears are, share them with people. Because that, more than anything, is going to inspire them, because they're going to say, wow, I'm scared of that too. I'm scared of failing. That's a huge one. I don't want to start because I'm scared of failing. I'm scared that I'm going to only last in this program for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to start eating all the wrong things again. So what's the point in starting? I don't want to coach because I can't even keep myself on track. People are scared, and it's a powerful thing. So by us sharing our journey and our fears is a great way to lead. To me, it's like the most powerful way to lead, and especially with your team as well. People are going to respect you. And, being yourself is just the best way to create a team where, you're going to be proud of it because they're going to have the same values. They're going to understand that sharing your story is powerful, but also, most importantly, is being you is the most powerful thing. So just to kind of recap, like I said, it doesn't have to be a huge thing that you miss, where you set a goal and you miss it, or you get a diagnosis or something in your family happens and you're just kind of rattled. But just those, moments from day to day where you don't feel like showing up or you're frustrated or whatever, do your personal development every day. Audio if you need to. I do audio every morning, and I flood myself with that encouragement and positivity before all those negative things around me have a chance to get in my mind and in my soul and kind of get a hold of me. So set yourself up for success like that, and put on that armor every day. Focus on yourself and love yourself, because you're beautiful and you're capable, and we are blessed to have you on our team. So as much as we love you, love yourself way more than that. Set a schedule and boundaries. Like I explained in the beginning, when I was pushing for that goal, Eric was like, what the heck? This is not cool. And it's happened along the way too, because I'm like, I'm working. Here I am pushing for something that is just going to benefit us, and I get to work from home and blah, blah, but I don't actually get to spend more time with you because I'm working. That defeats the whole purpose. So set boundaries. If, say I'm going to work here for 30 minutes and then I'm going on date night. And then tonight I'm going to work for 2 hours, and, you know what I mean? Like, make that schedule and stick to it so that the people in your life can come to depend on that too. So when you truly say, I'm speaking to myself here, when you truly say, I'm only going to be another 30 minutes, that you're only going to be another 30 minutes, because your family and your friends and your loved ones, that's the most important thing. Those are the things that really matter. So, set those boundaries for yourself, because you can't be everything for everybody all the time. You got to focus on you and love yourself, and, do what's best for your family. And then lastly is finding a hobby. Beachbody is not your hobby. Beachbody takes effort and passion and time and energy. So find something, if you don't have it, that you're able to walk away from the computer and unplug and enjoy something, and just like find that peace. Because when those things come your way, I want that to be your escape, where you can regroup a little bit and find something that cheers you up. And then you can come back to it, because you're going to be able to regroup. And like I said, just kind of like find that peace for yourself, where, you can say, I'm moving forward and I have goals in this, but for that little bit of time, you got to do you. So yeah, those are my suggestions for leading and overcoming those fears and those struggles that we all have, because you're capable of it. So thank you for listening. Do you guys have any questions or comments, or I'll open up the floor. You guys can unmute yourself and we can just kind of chat about what's going on in your life. Anything.